The AP poll for week 4 is already out, and as usual, we finally get to have a video all to itself where we get to sit down and break this thing down, Tyler. But I mean, let's take no time getting into this thing because the top 3 doesn't change absolutely at all. Ohio State still 1, Penn State 2, LSU 3. Miami moves up a spot, so does Georgia. Oregon got Big Ten. I mean, they just did. 34-14. Northwestern won to play clock control. It was a very ugly looking game. It was somehow the big noon game. I don't know why, but it was. Oregon drops down 2 spots. And also Miami and Georgia both had big wins. They beat top 20 opponents. Oregon didn't. They played Northwestern. So I would say that's pretty justified to move Oregon down those 2 spots because of that. Florida State is where things get interesting at number 7 because you look at Florida State, Texas, Illinois, and Texas A&M, and if you look at the point differential, it's 11-23 to 11-01. There is not a whole lot of difference between those 4. Texas A&M, obviously, one of the biggest, if not the biggest jumper of the entire AP poll, got the massive win at Notre Dame. A&M has finally gone on the road and beaten a ranked opponent for the first time in a decade. We'll have a lot more to talk about in our video that comes out tomorrow with the college football recap of the whole week. Florida State is kind of the winner, or they're not kind of, I think they are one of the winners of the week. They move up 3 spots and did absolutely nothing. They sat back, enjoyed their bye week, watched Alabama destroy Wisconsin, and said, hey, our quality win got even better. Clemson got beat. The ACC looks as wide open as it could be. It's them, Miami, and maybe Georgia Tech, and if Clemson can recover, I don't know if they can or not. The ACC looks open for Florida State to make some noise. Texas, I'll save my thoughts on Texas for a longer discussion because things are going interesting down in Austin. Illinois, nice win. They beat Western Michigan. Didn't do anything too fancy. Didn't do anything boneheaded or stupid. So they stay at number 9. A&M already mentioned. This is where things get interesting, Tyler. I don't think there's a whole lot of discussion in the top 10. I think it's once we get out of the top 10 that there's a lot more to talk about. And it starts with OU at number 11, Iowa State at 12, and then you get some of the big jumpers because of all the tumbling that went on. South Carolina falls, Clemson falls, South Florida fell in there. Tennessee got beat but didn't move at all. They stay at number 15. But Ole Miss hopping up to 13, having to play backup quarterback, rely on Chambliss to get the job done. They survived. It was a very normal game against Arkansas, which meant it was not a very normal college football game. Alabama absolutely murdered Wisconsin. Ty Simpson looks completely fine. He looks normal. And that's a good thing for Alabama because when he's rolling, that offense is great. That defense is good. Alabama looks like Alabama still. They're back up in the top 15. Utah is 16, and I kind of don't know why. Because if you watched Utah's game against Wyoming, that did not look like a top 20 team for a first half. Now, they got better. They recovered. But that was a game I think they just kind of snuck under the radar. That was a very sicko first half of football. But again, Utah's just kind of here. Somebody's got to be 16. Why not Utah? Tech right behind him at 17, a game that, again, I don't think a lot of people saw. 3-hour rain delay in Lubbock. They blow out Oregon State. And then Georgia Tech jumps up to 18. Big win for the Jackets, 24-21 over Clemson. I called this upset, by the way. I talked to you on Friday night. We didn't do a video, but I talked to you on Friday night and said Georgia Tech is going to beat Clemson. This is going to happen. Upset pick. You might not have heard me because it was after midnight, but I did specify I got this one on here. And then Indiana at 19 and Vanderbilt welcome back the Fighting Diego Pavias to the party with a smackdown of South Carolina. Now, yes, Lenore Sellers got hurt in the second quarter, but still, Vanderbilt absolutely laying the lumber in Willie Bryce. And you don't see that happen a lot, especially for a team that hadn't beaten South Carolina in 16 straight tries. So, Tyler, as we kind of look through that 11 through 20, is there anything that really sticks out to you as odd or should be a little bit different?
I mean, I think Texas A&M, properly. We'll get some thoughts on Notre Dame in a moment, but that's not an easy one to go on the road, back and forth in that contest, be able to pull it out like they did. They were properly rewarded. The Big 12, Iowa State, and Utah. carrying the water, but do we know if they're actually good teams?
Yeah,
That's
Iowa
that's
State was
where I'm like, I don't know.
yeah, Iowa State. I'll give Iowa State some credit. I turned the game on immediately when I saw that Arkansas State took the lead and watched Iowa State immediately walk down the field and score before halftime. And then I turned it off, came back when it was 17-16. I said, "Oh, they're actually going to do this today. This is the Matt Campbell letdown game where they look like they don't know what they're doing against a group of 5 team." And they gutted it out. So Iowa State 4-0 back-to-back years, but K-State lost again to Arizona. I don't know Iowa exists. I mean, they beat UMass, but I don't think we know how good Iowa State really is. I think they're good, but we don't know how good. And that's going to be a weird question that even some Iowa State fans have said. How good are we actually? We're 4-0, but does that
Yeah.
mean anything right now? We'll have to
But the
see.
18th vote,
Yeah.
put some Big 12 team up there.
Yeah.
That's all the
Someone
Big
has to
12.
represent the conference, but
Yeah,
it
we talked about the ACC being wide open. The Big 12 might be more wide open.
it might be. I think anyone could win the Big 12 at this rate, except K-State and OSU and maybe UCF. That's
Yeah.
about it. But I mean, even West Virginia bounced back. They beat Pitt in maybe one of the worst games I've ever seen. But hey, it went to overtime. And then
Rivalry game.
yeah, rivalry game. And then when things really start getting crazy, is not Michigan at 21, not Auburn at 22, not Missouri at 23, not even USC at 25. Why is Notre Dame still ranked? You lost 2 games. And not only that, you lost 2 games and granted, they're both top 10 teams now. It's not like they got beat by Northern Illinois again or anything like that. But it's the idea, at least for me, that if you start the year 0-2 and South Florida got punished for losing to Miami 49-12, they got blown out, but that team at least has beaten somebody. BYU is the first team out. They have at least beaten somebody. And Notre Dame fans, I saw that, they were throwing a fit about it, because a lot of people are, why is an 0-2 Notre Dame team number 24? And a Notre Dame fan put up the example of, okay, so if we scheduled Connecticut and beat Connecticut 52-7 and we're 1-1, you'd be okay with us being a top 15 team still. Well, yeah, you're not 0-2. We're not mad that you scheduled 2 good teams. We're mad that you lost both of those games and are still in the top 25 because of it. You got to work your way back up through it. Put somebody else in for a little bit and see what they do. Give Notre Dame some time to kind of think about themselves. Think about what went wrong. Think about the fact that they missed a PAT that would have sent the thing to overtime, and then technically a hold didn't even really impact that play. Gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown right afterward that didn't count. But, I mean, A&M shouldn't have held on that play. It had no impact on it. But Notre Dame, I feel like, had a lot of opportunities against Texas A&M. We'll get into this a little bit more in the actual video we have. I feel like Notre Dame should have won that game. There were moments where they looked like the better team, but the defense has a lot of work to do. Same problem they had against Miami. The pieces of them being really good are still there, but they haven't played like it. And you could say it's a 1-point loss. Maybe I'm being too critical on Notre Dame, but I just think it would have been nicer to give someone else a spin at maybe number 25, put USC up to 24.
You want to hear my hot take from this game?
What is your hot take that this is perfectly fine for you, that Notre Dame is still ranked?
My hot take is they should have been ranked higher still.
Wow.
Miami's number 4, right?
Yeah.
Or number 5. So
Yes.
my number 4. And they lost to them by 3 in a game, like you said, they could have won.
Yeah.
And then Texas A&M is now ranked number 10.
Yes.
And they lost by a point. That's 2 losses to top 10 teams by a combined 4 points. I'm not really a big believer of, there's quality losses, but when you look at the facts of this Notre Dame team, yes, they're 0-2. But you could argue there were a couple plays from 2-0 against what is now 2 top 10 teams in the country.
Yeah.
I can't punish them that hard for losing those games. Now, to your point, are there some other teams that may deserve to still be ranked? USF's an interesting case, right? Here's the problem. If you look at it head-to-head, USF got pummeled by Miami. Notre Dame was right there.
That is true.
So I think
that is true.
You got to throw out the window.
Yeah.
So I think Notre Dame, hot take, should be ranked higher still.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say it should be near the top 10, but I would trust them more than Utah right now. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying Utah should be ranked up there, but when you start looking at it, that's what the AP kind of has to do. You're projecting what's been done, but you're also projecting what's to come with some of these teams, right?
Yeah.
And with Notre Dame's schedule so far, can't say they're a bad team. Are they a great team? Maybe not, but they're still probably good enough to be in the top 25.
Yeah, I think one of the other ones that kind of comes to mind is Mississippi State beat Arizona State a few weeks ago. That was a big win that Mississippi State got, and they're still behind South Carolina. They're behind South Florida. They're behind BYU. TCU's in there in the receiving votes as well. Arizona State, Tulane, Louisville, Nebraska, Baylor, Clemson, SMU, NC State, UNLV, and even Navy got a vote. We'll just round out all the receiving votes there. Shout out to whoever gave Navy a vote, by the way. That person respects the troops, and I respect them for respecting the troops. But I think Notre Dame, it's one of those where I would like to see teams get rewarded for winning their games. And I respect Notre Dame for going out and playing these big games. But if you put yourself in a position to win and you do it back to back weeks, one on the road, one at home, and I think Miami is playing like a top 5 team right now. It's just I don't know how much stock I want to put into this A&M win yet, because A&M still had a few moments where it looked like, here we go, this is 8-4 A&M again. This is classic. Right. They're going to find a way to lose, and this is the problem I have with having a preseason AP poll. I really wish we didn't do polls until October, until we played a few conference games and can really see where everyone's at, because I feel like if you said, okay, Notre Dame started the year unranked or started in the middle, no one would have a problem with dropping them all the way out. If they started at 16 instead of, top 5 or top 10 type of deal, no one would have a problem with kicking them out at 0-2. But because they started so high, people do have that, like the case you can make where they should still be a top 25 team being 0-2. I think that's that preseason poll bias that lingers for a lot of the season.
I don't think it's biased, though. I think it's fair evaluation at this point. I mean, do you trust them more or Indiana? We haven't seen Indiana play anybody worth a lick.
I don't know. Indiana beat up Old Dominion, and Old Dominion beat Virginia Tech, who played South Carolina really close and was tied with Vanderbilt for a half. We could play this game, Tyler. we could play this game.
Do you trust Auburn or Notre Dame?
Do I trust? Well, I don't know. Is Jackson Arnold allowed to hit receivers for more than 8 yards in that game? I don't know. See, we can play this game with just about anybody, and that's the beauty of this poll, though, is there's so many fun hypotheticals you could throw out there that I don't know. I'd like to think that, but at the same time, I'd like to think that South Carolina could score more than 7 points on Vanderbilt in a half, but that's not what happened.
It's not.
That's the beauty of this sport, is it invites a lot of fun discussion like this.
It does. But yeah, that's my AP hot take. Otherwise, I'm kind of with you. I'm not seeing anything super egregious in this poll.
Yeah, there's nothing really that stands out to me as, horribly done or terrible or anything like that. Just a few, tweaks here and there maybe, and that's about it. That's kind of normal for an AP poll in September, though, it feels like. It'll set up some fun matchups. Indiana, you talked about them. Who are they going to play? They get Illinois this week. That's going to be a fun game. OU and Auburn going at it. It's going to be fun. Utah and Tech, big noon, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Why are they doing that? Why would you agree? Whatever. Utah agreed to play at 10 a.m. That's their loss, but we'll see. It'll be a fun week of college football once again. We'll get all into that. That preview video should be up either Wednesday or Thursday, one of the 2 days. We'll have the college football recap from this week up on Monday. It's fun. It's college football. It's a weird sport. It's a weird year, Tyler, and you want to be here for it. If you like this video, if you made it all the way to the end, feel free to give us a like there. Leave your comments down below. What did you think about the AP poll this week? Anything you agreed with, disagreed with, all that fun stuff, and subscribe to the channel. It's free. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to do. It's 1 minute to hit all the buttons, to leave a comment, all that fun stuff. If you're listening over on Spotify, give us 5 stars over there. Almost to 160 subscribers. Let's try to get that number up a little bit more, see if we can keep growing it. If you like the video, tell your friends, tell your neighbor, tell a random person across the street. I don't know, tell anybody you liked it. Just let them know. All that fun stuff. But folks, until next time, have a good one, everybody.